We are so pleased to be joined today by influencer founder and CEO Jim Cavell. And Jim has joined us, and we have some really exciting news for our athletic programs across the Southland Conference, and more specifically for all of our thousands of student athletes in this conference, as we are going to talk today about a new partnership that the Southland Conference has gotten into with Influencer, who has just been an industry leader in issues related to name, image, and likeness. And we are really excited today to bring Jim aboard to talk a little bit more about the platform for our student athletes and how they can manage their opportunities related to NIL. So, Jim, welcome to you. Certainly, as we've talked and visited before with your team, our athletic directors, our member institutions, were really excited about the opportunity to partner with Influencer. Certainly, as we've all across NCAA have gotten into name, image, and likeness, we might have been part of the group that initially thought, well, we're not quite sure this applies to us. But as we learned more, not only about what was happening all around us, but certainly your program and such, I think we realized we had a great opportunity to make a great step forward in this space and really become a leader in name, image, and likeness in the services we provide our student athletes. And that's really where we got to here internally. We talked about how could we be an NIL leader as the Southland Conference, and really it's evolved to, what we're announcing now and partnering with a great company and great folks at Influencer. So all that being said, welcome, Jim, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about some of the other services our folks might expect.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me, and we're very excited here at Influencer to get going with each of the Southland Conference institutions and helping their student athletes really do two things, right? Number one, build and maximize their brand, which ultimately means build and maximize their NIL value. And then number two, build and manage their personal NIL business. And, our technology launched back in 2017 before NIL was a buzzword. And we launched with really one main product, and that was our brand building app that athletes have on their phone, and it delivers content to them, shot by the media, shot by their institution. They can share that content to their personal social media channels. And then we also have always provided them with metrics to understand the growth that the brand power of their institution brings them the opportunity to gain on social media with followers and engagement growth. But also now they can see how that growth equates to value. We naturally evolved into being an NIL platform because the student athletes are already on our app building their brand, right? And so today, more than 210 Division I institutions trust Influencer with that core product to help athletes build their brand, but also they've looked to us, you're looking to us to help your student athletes build and manage their NIL business. And that means providing them with platforms that they can sign up for to go actually transact and get paid by brands or fans for their NIL. But it also means technology to provide them with on-demand education on topics like financial literacy, technology to disclose transactions to compliance so that they're staying compliant and eligible within their school's NIL regulations. So we're just really excited to be now doing that with you and all of your institutions and student athletes.
There were a couple of points you made there that I know our administrators on our campuses and those of us internally here at the conference office really excited about. And that is just the larger educational part of this. And I think we all identify we need to be as educated as we can on this. But I think another thing you've mentioned is that the financial literacy piece of this, we've talked about that for a number of years. And like you say, that kind of predated name, image, and likeness. We think that's a valuable service for, our student athletes. So just from an educational standpoint, I know we're very excited, and, you've touched on a few things, but are there some other educational pieces of this that we might be able to look forward to?
Yeah, well, I think that NIL is going to be like everything else in the sense that student athletes are going to learn a lot by doing. And the oversight that compliance can have through our technology and what they are doing is going to help them, right? A lot of student athletes don't know that, you have to actually have a 1099 for each different business that you transact with. A lot of student athletes don't know that you also should be paying taxes on in-kind transactions where somebody's giving you a meal or giving you some set of, merchandise to promote their company, right? These are things that they're going to learn inside of our system on the educational side with short articles and videos, but a lot of them might not take the time to go through that, or even if they do, they might not do it perfectly the first time. And it's going to be a trial and error process. That's just the reality of NIL. It's not going to be perfect, and nobody has all the answers. So it's going to be fun to evolve together with the institutions we serve in the Southland Conference, because we're going to have a lot of involvement and oversight in what the student athletes are actually doing.
You touched on the technology. Talk a little bit about maybe the convenience of the technology and just how handy things are going to be for our student athletes and others that are involved, and maybe talk a little bit about the app and how manageable all that's going to be.
Well, listen, you play for such a short period of time. You want your content. And now because of social media, you want to be able to have it because you want to share it, right? You want to build your brand. You want to get yourself out there. And this content being shot of you is not going to be shot to this degree forever. So it's a big opportunity. And so that's the hook, right? That's what we've done since the beginning. And that gets athletes in the app every day, right? So whether it's Getty Images or USA Today Sports, or your photographers at your institution or your videographers at your institution, all that content flows through our servers, and facial recognition and jersey number recognition sorts it all so that it's personalized in a gallery in real time for your athletes on their phone in the Influencer app. And that gets them there. And then once they're in there, they have a menu to choose from outside of their content. They can look at other content of their teammates. They can check out educational content. There's modules on all the topics that pertain to NIL, from brand building to financial literacy to negotiating your deal, all that stuff with subject matter experts, the best in their fields, agents, financial experts, pro athletes talking about these topics. Also in the menu is the metrics feature, which helps athletes see, hey, when I showed up at UNO, I had this many followers, but today I have this many more because of the brand power of UNO, right? And so that is a powerful way for them to see their growth, but also how it pertains to the brand power of the school they represent. And then in that menu, there's a disclosure feature that allows them to disclose any transactions they take part in with their NIL to get them approved by compliance. And then lastly, inside the Influencer app is what we call the exchange. And the Influencer exchange is a place for them to actually find opportunities that they can go pursue with brands or fans that want to pay them for their NIL. So all these things are really right at their fingertips in their phone. NIL is something that a lot of folks have been really worried and scared about because it's such a big change. And it's also just the beginning, right? One thing that I think is great about NIL that we all should embrace is it really is encouraging student athletes to do something that you and your coaches and administrators have been telling young people who play sports at your institutions to do forever. And that is, think of yourself beyond the game. Use this stage, use this platform while you're wearing the jersey, while the ball is still inflated and you're playing. Use it to meet influential alums. Use it to make connections with fans and other folks that have attention being dedicated towards you right now because you're playing. And use that attention to create relationships that will not make this stage you're playing on the peak of your life, but instead use it to set the stage for the rest of your life. And so that's what's great about NIL. Many kids are going to have a very small business. They're going to make a little bit of extra money that they weren't allowed to make before, but they're going to hopefully think in a new way that helps them think beyond the game, think bigger in the context of their life. And that's what I'm most excited about with NIL. And that's what I think together we should all lean into.